Guys, I was not ready for the clip that we're going to be taking a look at today to ever be something that was said by a human being, but unfortunately, well, here we are today, ready to go ahead and take a look at something that is just, it's so dumb, honestly. It just makes no sense, and honestly, Ninja at this point is kind of known for having some bad takes, you know. How do we have kickers in the NFL who just miss kicks? How is that even possible? We know that he's very capable of saying some very goofy things that don't really make sense and everything, but this one, I think, might just take the cake as one of the worst things I've actually ever heard in my life. One of the most illogical things I've ever heard in my life. Before we get started with this video, though, I do want to go ahead and say, I guess to his credit, that it's a lot harder to actually say what you're meaning to say when you're trying to articulate something on live stream, because obviously everything that you say is right there live, it's in the open, and everyone's going to hear it regardless of whether or not you want them to, unless like you mute your mic or whatever. But I mean, when you're trying to make a point or something, I mean, you gotta be dead on, or it's not gonna add up the way you want it to and make sense. But obviously when you're making a video like this, I mean, I can cut things out and edit the video afterwards, but honestly, I think that this is still just bad enough to the point where it's like, you don't really get the excuse of, oh, I was live streaming and couldn't really think it out, but just a little something to address. So Ninja believes that if you don't take video games seriously and you say it's just a game, you're a horrible human being, along with multiple other statements that are just, I don't even really know how to describe them. Maybe painful, I guess. Painful to intake. But let's go ahead and start to roll the video and just kind of talk about this one as we go. I think that's the best way we can approach this one because, well, there's plenty that I want to break down in this video. And for all the Fortnite kids who are inevitably going to come and spam the video with dislikes and really stupid comments, watch the entire video and think for about, I don't know, 27 seconds before we go ahead and press that button, so.
If anyone ever uses the excuse, it's just a game, I'm gonna lose my mind.
If anyone uses that excuse, he's going to lose his mind. Okay, so that's the first one. That's the first little tidbit here that I think shows how this is gonna go for everybody. So if somebody says something that I don't like, I will go ahead and lose my mind. I can't stand it when people actually say things that oppose what I'm saying. I will lose my mind.
Imagine telling LeBron James, Tom Brady, that when they're pissed off after losing a game, that it's just a game. Like, I'm gonna lose. Like, are you kidding me? You're so stupid.
Okay, well, you're stupid if you don't compare LeBron James and Tom Brady to Ninja, or to anyone who plays eSports. You are stupid, quote unquote, if you do not make that comparison. Okay, well, let's go ahead and do, I would say, a little exercise here. I'm gonna put up some random statistics, okay? Like maybe some social media followers, net worth, average viewership of the leagues that they play in, and you go ahead and tell me which one probably belongs to which. We're not even gonna compare yet the sports, okay, to the video game. We're not going to make that comparison yet. We will here in a minute, but go ahead and take a look through these numbers really quickly. I'll leave you guys to think about it. As of November 2019, the biggest esports tournament viewership of all time went to a League of Legends tournament Worlds, and that was in 2019. Its peak viewership was 3.98 million. Very impressive, honestly. I will go ahead and say that. That's a pretty big viewership for esports. Okay, well, the lowest rated average finals series of all time averaged only a slight 9.29 million viewers. The highest of all time in 1998, when the Chicago Bulls beat the Utah Jazz, was something a little slight called 29.04 million average viewers. And that's just the NBA. By the way, the NBA is not as popular as the NFL, you know, where Tom Brady comes from. So yeah, LeBron, don't try and contest that, right? Don't try and compare those two, because if you told him it was just a game, you know, all this other stuff, well, okay. The lowest average viewers that the Super Bowl has ever seen was literally with Super Bowl 1, where, you know, only 24,430,000 people on average were tuning in. But the most viewed one? is otherworldly compared to either of these, okay, the NBA or esports, with in 2015, 114,442,000 average viewers. There's a Dota 2 player called NoTail, and he is the highest earning esports player of all time. Let's go ahead and compare what he's earned with what Tom Brady and LeBron have earned. So, NoTail has earned $6.8 million over his career. Pretty impressive, I would say. I mean, obviously a multimillionaire, that's a lot of money, right? Tom Brady, as of this offseason, which he is now a free agent, he hasn't signed a contract or anything yet, has earned $235.2 million. And according to this 2018 article, LeBron James's new Lakers contract made him the best paid NBA player in history, and means that at the end of his contract, he will only have a slight, $387.2 million. So I'm going to use an esports player by the name of Faker to go ahead and kind of, I guess, show off what's going on in terms of esports. He's an extremely popular League of Legends player. He's got a whopping 269.2 thousand followers. Very impressive, honestly. That's a lot of followers. By the way, we're using Twitter to make this comparison and everything. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at LeBron. He's got 45.2 million. Tom Brady has 963.2 thousand and joined just in March of last year. So in less than a year, he has quadruple the followers of Faker. This is, by the way, is not shots at anybody in the esports world that I've been talking about. This is just to make a comparison. And to go ahead and say that, telling them it's just a game, to them, what they're doing is so grandiose on the world scale in terms of viewership. Like when they play in the finals or the Super Bowl, which both of them have been to both more times than most players ever could fantasize, they're playing to a ridiculous amount of people. I mean, whole countries worth of people, if you really break the numbers down. They're not on the same scale. And let's quit trying to pretend that video games and playing a sport like football are the same things. As a matter of fact, there are actually several athletes who do go ahead and go into esports and things like that, and they get interested in it and play games and stuff for a living. But how many esports players do you see when it's all said and done, or for literally just fun in their pastime? How many of them do you see get on a football field and face up with a 250-pound linebacker? But it's the same thing, right? So how is it that one of these groups of people can very easily bridge the gap to the other side, but they can't really reverse roles and do it then? I would love to see Ninja get on an NBA court with NBA professionals, even semi-professionals, okay? Maybe even college players. Fuck it. We'll really lower the bar and try and compete. I would love to see that, but hey, I'm the stupid one here because I don't think that these are really the same thing that we're trying to pull off here, but whatever, okay.
It's the competitive nature, bro. It's about respect, bro. It's about pride. It's so much bigger than a video game.
It's that competitive nature, bro. The respect, bro. The pride. Okay. Video games are intended to be fun. Yeah, you get competitive and everything. There is a competitive nature, especially when you're playing like in comp playlists. But how many people do you really think are out here grinding comp playlists? If you added up all of the gamers in the world and you tried to total out how many of them play competitive playlists, it would most likely either be a fraction of a percent or maybe just a couple. Maybe I'll give you a couple percent, okay? Whatever. Now, out of the people who play these competitive playlists and take it super seriously, bro, for that respect and that pride, how many of them do you think end up playing a video game professionally? If it's even like 1% of people who play video games, we're talking about tens, if not hundreds of millions of people, okay? How many of them do you think actually go pro in video games? There's a couple hundred people who play in most of these different video games on an actual professional level. So maybe upwards of 30,000 maybe out of everyone who plays video games, but yet they're supposed to take it super seriously and act like their lives are on the line, right? It's that important because you got to get that respect and everything. I don't respect most people who take video games way too seriously. As a matter of fact, I often kind of think less of them because they act completely ridiculous like this when they're playing video games, and it's no fun to play with those people because, they take everything way too seriously.
And anyone that ever uses the excuse it's just a game is a horrible human being and is lazy. You're a lazy human being.
Okay, where do I start? So, it's bigger than a video game, but it's not. It really isn't. Most of the time, it's really not bigger than a video game. If you're playing Call of Duty at home in a little 6v6 on Team Deathmatch, It's not any bigger than a video game. You're not playing for any fucking money. You're not playing for any prestige. You're not playing for any respect. You're playing a casual playlist in a video game to have fun. Let's say you even play League Play in Call of Duty. It literally is also just a video game. You don't win any money. You don't really win prestige. What, are you going to get some little badge next to your name that glows? Wow, that's the prestige that Ninja is now on this rant about. If you're not playing in a tournament for money, it literally is no bigger than a video game whatsoever. I mean, it just isn't. And even if you want to go pro or something, it's still not any bigger than a video game, except for the fact that you really, really want to play it for a living. That doesn't make it bigger than a video game. And anyone who uses the excuse it's just a video game is quote-unquote a horrible human being. Anyone who doesn't take their video games way too seriously, act like a complete idiot when you lose a game, and make stupid statements like this, you're a horrible human being. You play that video game casually for a couple hours after you get off work, when you're a construction worker, or you're in the military, you're on leave, you're home, and you're playing that video game, you're lazy, okay? And you're a horrible human being because you're not taking the game as seriously as possible. You're not out here drinking G Fuel through your asshole and grinding the game for 19 hours a day so you have a glimpse of a chance of being professional someday. I mean, Ninja just said it. And I feel like at some point he's going to try and retract this statement and say that's not what he meant. But this is quite literally the quote. Okay, at this point, you can't really back down from this one. You said something stupid. Like, this was completely ridiculous. And on top of that, you're lazy if you don't sit for 20 hours a day and play video games to get a glimpse of, once again, a chance of maybe being a professional video game player, right? Let's forget the fact that you're in college and you're studying for a major, or let's forget the fact that you just worked for 9 hours straight today. If you're not up until 3 o'clock in the morning snorting hot Cheeto dust off your desk to stay awake, you're just a lazy piece of shit. And you should completely hate yourself, right? I don't know if he is at this point in his career where he's so used to this that he thinks that it should be the status quo for everybody or what's going on here, but no. None of this even makes sense. And the thing is people defend this. People act like this is okay to say, it makes sense and everything. They're like, oh, his message is being interpreted wrong. What the fuck can he say that makes anything he said even make sense or even better? You know what I'm saying? Like, I get if you're a professional gamer or whatever, you're on an eSports team, if you take the game really seriously. I don't really care. But when this dude gets on here and tries to say that anyone who's not taking the game as seriously as he is a horrible human being, yeah, that's where we're going to draw the line. So we've already shown that Tom Brady and LeBron James are completely incomparable to even the most elite of esports players. We've already broken down everything else he says. What do you guys think? And I know, of course, there's going to be some salty Ninja fans who are just ready to go to his defense. That's okay. I understand. You guys play video games all day, and you think that you're going to go somewhere with it. But I'm here to tell everybody that the odds are infinitely against you for this kind of thing. Is that a reason to not chase it? Not exactly. But is it a reason to make your entire life the video game? Is it a reason to shame yourself for not taking the video game so seriously? No. It's not. At the end of the day, what you're playing is meant to be enjoyed for fun. If you want to play it competitively, that's also an option, but it should not consume you. And if it consumes you to the point where you legitimately believe other people are below you as people because they don't grind the game as hard as you, then you are mentally detached from reality. So, whatever though. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you're brand new around here on my channel. Follow me over on Twitter at @SubToOptimus. I post memes, thoughts, and updates over there. Surefire way to get notifications of all my newest content. Make sure to check out OpTube down below. Lots of great things going on down there as well. Thank you to my channel members. Your support helps my channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, snorting hot Cheeto dust so I can go do 720YY no scopes in the Call of Duty League, and signing out.